This is the Sonder Community Podcast. Our goal is simple: better ourselves and better the world. The other night, my son, who's just a toddler, kept waking up in the middle of the night. And he doesn't do that very often. He usually sleeps pretty good, but he woke up several times and he was just distraught. Deeply upset about something. And there's waking up and wanting mom and dad, and then there's I'm panic screaming. And unfortunately, he could not communicate what was happening because he was just so tired and 2 years old. Eventually, after this happened 3 or 4 times, I was like, I'm so tired. Dude, you just want to sleep in my bed. And he was, he readily agreed. He's very funny. I laid him down in my bed. I'm like, how you feeling, buddy? And he looked at me with the biggest smile on. He's like, sad. He's so happy, but something was still wrong. It was very cute. But anyway, so we have this moment. I think, okay, he's going to sleep with us. It's going to be all good. I'll lose a little bit of sleep, but it's better than getting up every 30 minutes. But in the morning, something was still wrong. He was refusing to eat. And it was a dad's specialty. It was peanut butter, oatmeal, and his favorite bar. Usually, this is a home run meal. There is nothing that made sense for him to reject, and yet he refused to eat. And as this continued, my body started to tell me I was beginning to get frustrated. I got the hot and the itchies and started to get a little tunnel vision. And despite a poor night's sleep, I took a mental step back and I examined my emotions. Why am I feeling this way? This allowed me to prevent irrational emotions from dictating my actions. So once I took hold of my emotions, I realized that there has to be a reason he's being so much. Usually when he's overly emotional, it's due to him being tired, hungry, or sick. So a few minutes into this, refusing to eat, he yells, "Daddy, potty!" He had to go potty. It turns out he slept so poorly, wanted to sleep with me, and didn't want to eat for a valid reason. He was sick. Now, with children, we don't get caught up with symptoms of the issue. Instead, we empathize with them and we address the root issue. Now, for example, it does no good to yell at a crying child. It solves nothing. Instead, because we love them, we're patient and we work to figure out what is wrong. When they're hungry, we get them food and then they're pleasant again. Most of the time, we understand that children are acting a certain way for a specific reason. It simply makes sense. Now, there is something that we know in our minds, but once we experience it on a deep level, it can radically change us. Maybe you've experienced it, maybe you haven't. Maybe you've experienced it when you saw a stranger crying. Or maybe it was when you saw a stranger say yes to a marriage proposal. You're just the person in the background of those pictures. Oh, that's happening right here. Maybe it was in seeing a stranger at a mundane moment, like so many others. Driving, sitting, walking, talking on the phone, whatever. It was at this moment that you may have deeply realized that every conscious individual has their own life. They may currently be experiencing deep sadness, extreme joy, or maybe caught up in the monotony of every day. They have their own hopes and dreams. They have experienced heartbreak and the type of embarrassment that sometimes keeps them up at night. They have felt misunderstood. They have tried and failed. They have been let down by someone they love. They want to be loved. In fact, they have a life so like yours in so many ways, yet it's uniquely their own. Like you, the decisions they make are usually not random, but if you had lived their life, you might find that it makes so much sense. So why don't we extend the same empathy that we would to a crying child to those around us? Or even, at the very least, the same empathy that we hope others would extend to us. Yeah, that person did something that aggravated you, but what if it was an accident? Or they didn't know any better? Or maybe they had a difficult day? Yes, that person has a bad attitude, but you've had days where your mood wasn't helpful. You don't know the context of what's happening in their life. Yes, that person thinks a certain way, but that's how everyone around them has always believed. And it is difficult to break out of what you've always known, especially when it may risk your relationship with your tribe, your family, your community. Yes, that person has beliefs that you vehemently disagree with. But it wasn't all that long ago that you thought the same way. Only recently have your views changed. Now, most people don't want to be addicted to drugs or be homeless. Most poor people's issue is not that they're lazy or even irresponsible. The problem is they don't have enough money. The more you understand people, the more difficult it becomes to judge them too harshly. It also makes their hostility towards you obviously misguided and powerless to offend you. So rather than stand from a place of, moral superiority and judgment, let's have a posture of empathy and humility. That is why I'm naming this the Sonder community. So Sonder is the realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own. Sonder is just a practice in empathy. The intricacies and complexities of other people's lives are beyond what our quick judgment of a person can fully grasp. So rather than being caught up in the initial impressions, we do our best to put ourselves in their shoes. Now, this also goes for people that we do know, right? We may know them, but we still don't know all the ins and outs of their life or what's happening in their mind. In trying to see life through their point of view, we still only have a partial understanding of others' lives, but we still need to try. Empathy helps you be a better partner, parent, neighbor, and member of the greater whole. Now, empathy doesn't make wrong right, but this perspective is essential if you want to have an open mind. We are not the center of the universe. Our opinion and beliefs are not supreme. This takes courage to constantly choose this practice, but it is vital to making life better. The world is more significant than the individual, so let's think like it is. After all, we are all part of the greater whole. We are better together. Thank you for listening. Feel free to continue to join us on the podcast. As always, all content is also written on our website. This content is only part of what we do. We want to know you. This is an experiment in creating a community that transcends our physical location. We have regular community pop-ups where we connect and have intellectually honest conversations. To sign up for information, stay up to date with our online pop-ups and events, to join our community on Discord and follow us on social media, check out our website at thesondercommunity.com.